The phone buzzed against my desk. My mother's name lighting up the screen for the first time in 18 months. My hand trembled as I reached for it. Memories of her walking out flooding back like a tidal wave. My name is Sierra, and the last time I saw my mother, she was packing her bags for Florida with her new boyfriend, while my 8-year-old daughter lay in a hospital bed fighting pneumonia. Lily, honey, finish your homework. Mommy needs to take this call, I said, forcing a smile as I stepped into the kitchen. My daughter nodded, her small fingers fiddling with her inhaler, a constant companion since her respiratory issues began. I let the call go to voicemail. Within seconds, a text appeared. Sierra, please, it's important. Call me back. The library where I worked was quiet today, giving me too much time to think about that message. My boss, Chandler, noticed my distraction during our morning meeting. Everything okay? She asked, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. You seem somewhere else today. My mother reached out, I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice remained. First time since she left us for Tucker. Chandler's face darkened. She'd been there through it all. The endless hospital visits, the maxed-out credit cards, the nights I'd worked overtime while Bonnie watched Lily. You don't owe her anything, Sierra. I know. But did I? The weight of being someone's daughter never really leaves you, even when they've left you. During my lunch break, I called my friend Bonnie. She answered on the first ring, probably sensing my need for support. She's got some nerve, Bonnie said after I explained. Remember what you told me when she left? The next time I see her, I'll be strong enough to say no. I did remember. I'd said those words in the hospital cafeteria, watching Lily sleep through the observation window. Yeah, but no buts. You've built something here, Sierra. Look at how well Lily's doing now. The new treatment plan, the better apartment, all of it. You did that alone. The afternoon dragged on, each tick of the clock bringing another message from my mother. By closing time, I had 12 texts and 5 voicemails. I picked up Lily from after-school care, her bright smile washing away some of my anxiety. Mommy, can we have pizza tonight? I finished all my math problems. Sure, sweetie, you've earned it. I helped her into the car, checking her breathing, a habit I couldn't break. How's your chest feeling today? Good. I didn't even need my inhaler at recess. At home, over pepperoni pizza, I finally listened to the voicemails. Each one grew more desperate than the last. Sierra, baby, please call me back. I know I messed up, but I need your help. Honey, it's about Tucker. We're in trouble. Please, just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Lily looked up from her pizza, marinara sauce on her chin. Is that Grandma? My heart clenched. Lily barely remembered her grandmother now, but she used to adore her. Before Tucker, before Florida, before everything fell apart. Yes, baby, it is. Is she coming back? I wiped the sauce from her chin, buying time to find the right words. I don't know, but you know what? We're doing just fine, aren't we? Just us girls? Lily nodded, but I saw the question in her eyes. The same question I'd been asking myself all day. Why wasn't our love enough to make her stay? After tucking Lily in, I sat on my bed staring at my phone. One last message had come through. I'm coming to see you tomorrow. Please don't shut me out. I need you. I called Bonnie again, my voice finally breaking. She's coming here. Want me to come over? I can bring wine. No, but thanks. I need to handle this myself. I paused, fighting back tears. I just don't understand. 18 months of silence, and now she needs me? Because that's what narcissists do, honey. They show up when they need something. I walked to my dresser, opening the bottom drawer, where I kept the newspaper clipping. It was from 6 months ago, a small article about Tucker's arrest in Miami for assault. I'd been tracking them, telling myself it was closure, but maybe I'd always known they'd come crawling back. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Chandler. Whatever happens tomorrow, remember who was there when Lily couldn't breathe. Remember who held your hand in the ER. It wasn't her. I looked at the family photo on my nightstand, taken just last month. Lily and me at the park, both smiling, both healing. We'd made it through the worst together, just the two of us. Tomorrow, my mother would try to walk back into our lives like she'd never left. But I wasn't the same desperate, broken woman she'd abandoned 18 months ago. I was stronger now. I was ready. And I had a feeling I knew exactly what she wanted. The knock came at 10 a.m. sharp, just as I was sorting through Dad's old files in the study. I'd been up since dawn, preparing myself for this moment, but nothing could have readied me for the sight of my mother standing on my doorstep. "Sierra," she breathed, reaching for me. I stepped back, maintaining the distance between us. She looked older, more worn. Her carefully maintained blonde hair now showed strips of gray, and her designer clothes seemed slightly faded. "You look good," she said, hovering in the doorway. "Is Lily at school, where she should be?" I gestured for her to come in, watching as she surveyed our small living room. "What do you want, Mom?" She sank into our worn couch, her eyes lingering on the wall of Lily's artwork. "I've made some mistakes, honey. Big ones. Like abandoning your granddaughter during her worst health crisis?" The words came out sharper than I intended, but I didn't regret them. I know. She wrung her hands in her lap. "Tucker and we've hit some rough patches. He's in trouble, Sierra. Real trouble." There it was. I walked to the kitchen, putting the counter between us as I poured coffee. "What kind of trouble?" "He owes some people money. A lot of money." Her voice cracked. "They're threatening him, threatening us. We need help." I set her coffee down harder than necessary, liquid sloshing over the rim. "How much?" 75,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. "Are you serious? That's more than I make in a year." "You must have something saved. Or maybe you could take out a loan?" Her eyes darted around the room, probably calculating what I could sell. "Your father's life insurance money." "Stop." I gripped the counter until my knuckles turned white. "Dad's money went to Lily's medical bills. Every penny of it. The bills you left us with." She flinched but pressed on. "Tucker has a plan. He just needs capital to make it work. Once he wins back." "Wins back?" The pieces clicked into place. "He gambled it away, didn't he? That's where the money went. He had a system. It was working, but then—" "Get out." The words came automatically, surprising us both. "Sierra, please. These aren't nice people he owes. They've already threatened to—" I said get out." I was shaking now, memories of sleepless nights in hospital chairs flooding back. "Where were you when Lily couldn't breathe? When I was working double shifts to pay for her medications?" She stood, reaching for her purse. "I know I hurt you, but we're family." "Family?" I laughed, a harsh sound that didn't seem like my own voice. "Family shows up, family stays. I'll come back when you're calmer," she said, heading for the door. "Think about it, please. We don't have much time." After she left, I returned to Dad's study, my hands trembling as I rifled through his old case files. Dad had been a private investigator before his heart attack, and he'd taught me the importance of keeping records. I remembered him mentioning Tucker's name before he died, saying he'd looked into Mom's new boyfriend. The file was there, tucked behind others from that year. My breath caught as I read through Dad's notes. Multiple arrests for fraud, 2 ex-wives who'd filed bankruptcy after marriage to him, a pattern of gambling debts and disappeared savings. My phone buzzed. A text from Bonnie. "Did she show? Are you okay?" I sent back a quick later and called Madeline instead. We'd grown up together, and now she worked as a producer at the local news station. "Mad, remember when you said you owed me for covering your shifts during college? I need a favor." "Name it," she said without hesitation. "How much do you know about investigating fraud?" "Enough to make it interesting. What's going on?" I looked at the file in my hands, at the photo of Tucker smiling his snake charmer smile. "I need to know everything about a man named Tucker Steele, and I need to know how to make sure everyone else knows about him, too." "Sierra," Madeline's voice turned serious. "Are you sure about this? Once things go public?" "My mother chose him over her dying granddaughter," I said, my voice steady. "Now she wants me to empty my savings to pay his gambling debts. I'm done protecting them. Come by the station tomorrow. Bring everything you have." After hanging up, I sat in Dad's old chair, running my fingers over his handwriting. He'd seen through Tucker from the start, tried to warn Mom. Now his research might be the key to protecting Lily and me from their chaos. My phone buzzed again. Mom. Please, Sierra, just think about it. For me? I didn't respond. Instead, I took out my laptop and started typing, documenting everything I could remember about Tucker's influence on our family. Every lie, every manipulation, every broken promise. This time, I wouldn't be the victim of their story. I would be the author of it. The news station's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows as Madeline spread Dad's files across her desk. Her eyes widened with each document she examined. Sierra, this is explosive, she said, holding up a paper detailing Tucker's previous fraud charges. Your father was thorough. He tried to warn my mother. I handed her another stack of papers. These are from the last 18 months. Everything I could find online about their activities in Florida. Madeline whistled low. 3 casinos banned him for counting cards. 2 domestic disturbance calls. And look at this, she pointed to a recent police report. He was questioned about running an illegal gambling ring out of his condo. My mother's condo, I corrected. The one she bought with her retirement savings. You okay? Madeline touched my arm. This can't be easy. Before I could answer, my phone rang. Lily's school. My heart jumped to my throat. Ms. Sierra, Lily had a small asthma attack during PE. She's stable now, but I'm on my way. I grabbed my purse, but Madeline caught my wrist. Go get her. I'll start putting this together. But Sierra? Her expression turned serious. Are you absolutely sure you want to do this? Once we start digging publicly, there's no going back. I thought of Lily in the hospital, asking for her grandmother. I'm sure. At school, I found Lily sitting in the nurse's office, her inhaler clutched tight. Mommy! She launched herself into my arms. I'm sorry. I thought I could do the whole mile. Nothing to be sorry for, baby. I held her close, breathing in her familiar scent. Want to come back to work with me? At the library, Chandler took one look at us and cleared her schedule. She set Lily up in the children's section with books and juice while we talked in her office. Your mother's been calling the library, she said, closing the door. 3 times today. Of course she has. I slumped in the chair. She's desperate. Tucker's gambling debts are worse than I thought. How bad? Bad enough that she's willing to talk to me again. I showed her the texts from this morning, increasingly frantic messages about deadlines and consequences. Chandler leaned forward. What are you going to do? Madeline's helping me expose them. Dad had evidence of Tucker's past scams, and there's plenty more from Florida. We're thinking of running a story about gambling addiction and financial abuse. That's bold. Chandler chose her words carefully. But what about your mother? This could destroy her too. She destroyed us first. My voice cracked. You remember how it was. Lily in the hospital, me barely keeping it together, and Mom. Mom just left. For him. A knock interrupted us. Bonnie stood in the doorway, holding up a paper bag. Brought lunch. Figured you might need friendly faces today. We gathered in the break room, watching Lily read through the window while we ate. Bonnie pulled out her phone, showing me a social media post. Your mom's been busy. She's telling people you're refusing to help family in crisis. Playing the victim. Classic manipulation, Chandler muttered. My phone buzzed again. Madeline. Story's taking shape. Found 2 of Tucker's ex-wives. They want to talk. When can you come in? Tomorrow, I typed back. After I drop Lily at school. Sierra, Bonnie said softly. What do you hope happens? Best case scenario? I watched Lily turn a page, her face peaceful. I want them to face consequences. Real ones. Not just running away to the next town, the next victim. I paused, surprising myself with the truth of it. I want my mother to choose me this time. Even if she doesn't, Chandler said. You're choosing yourself, and Lily. That matters more. That evening, as I tucked Lily into bed, she asked about the photo on her nightstand. The last Christmas before Mom left. all of us smiling around the tree. Is Grandma bad, Mommy? I sat on the edge of her bed, choosing my words carefully. No, baby. But sometimes good people make bad choices, and those choices hurt people they love. Like when I tried to run the mile today? No, sweetheart. That was brave. You're trying to get stronger. I kissed her forehead. This is different. After she fell asleep, I called Madeline. The story goes live next week, she said. We're calling it The Price of Addiction, A Family's Warning. You sure you want to do the interview? Yes. I looked at Dad's files spread across my kitchen table. They need to hear it from me. Your mother will probably try to stop it. As if on cue, my phone lit up with another text from Mom. Please call me. Tucker says he can fix everything. We just need a little help. Don't you want us to be a family again? I left it unanswered, turning instead to my laptop, where I'd started writing my statement for the interview. The cursor blinked at me, waiting for words that would change everything. I'm ready, I told Madeline. It's time everyone knew the truth. The library doors swung open, and my stomach dropped. Tucker strode in like he owned the place, wearing that same charming smile that had fooled my mother. I was shelving books in the reference section when he spotted me. Sierra, just the person I wanted to see. His voice carried through the quiet space, making several patrons look up. I clutched a heavy medical encyclopedia, considering its weight. You need to leave. Now, is that any way to treat family? He lowered his voice, leaning against the shelf. Your mother's worried sick, won't eat, barely sleeps. Funny how her maternal instincts kick in when you need money. His smile tightened. Look, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but I've got a sure thing lined up. Double your investment in 2 weeks, guaranteed. Sir, Chandler appeared beside me. This is a library. If you're not here for books, I'll have to ask you to leave. Tucker pulled out his phone, showing me a photo of Mom crying on their couch. She misses you, Mrs. Lilly. We could be a real family again. The same family that abandoned my daughter in the hospital? I stepped closer, voice shaking. The same family that emptied Mom's retirement account for your sure things? His face darkened. You've been checking up on me. My father did, before he died. I watched his expression change as understanding dawned. He kept very detailed records. Those records are ancient history. But I saw the flash of fear in his eyes. People change. Sir, Chandler repeated. Final warning. Tucker straightened his jacket. Think about your mother, Sierra. Think about what this stubbornness is doing to her. He pulled out a business card, placing it on the shelf. Call me when you're ready to be reasonable. After he left, Chandler touched my arm. You okay? No. I was trembling. Call Madeline. Tell her we need to move faster. That afternoon, I met Madeline at a coffee shop near the station. She had company, 2 women I recognized from Dad's files. Sierra, meet Amanda and Rachel, Madeline said. Tucker's ex-wives. Amanda, a tired-looking woman in her 40s, reached for my hand. We've been waiting for someone to expose him. He took everything, Rachel added, younger but equally worn. Not just money. He destroys your trust, makes you doubt yourself. Tell me everything, I said, pulling out my notebook. For the next hour, they shared their stories. The pattern was identical. Tucker would charm his way into their lives, discover their financial resources, then gamble it away while spinning tales of guaranteed returns. The worst part? Amanda stirred her cold coffee. He makes you feel responsible for his addiction. Like if you just believed in him more, loved him more, it would all work out. Sound familiar? Madeline asked softly. My phone buzzed. Mom again. Tucker told me about your father's files. Please don't do this. He's changed. We can work this out as a family. Rachel saw the message. That's exactly what he had me telling my parents when they tried to warn me. The story airs in 3 days, Madeline said. We've verified everything. Police reports, bank records, court documents. It's bulletproof. They'll try to stop it, Amanda warned. He always does. As if on cue, my phone rang. An unknown number. The voicemail that followed made my blood run cold. Ms. Sierra, this is Jeffrey from Coastal Credit Union. There's been an attempt to access your accounts using your mother's old authorization. We've frozen everything pending your verification. See? Rachel's face was grim. He's already trying to get to your money. I called the bank immediately, changing all my passwords and removing my mother's access I'd given her during Lily's hospitalization. We should add this to the story, Madeline said, taking notes. Show how they're proving our point even now. Back home, I found more messages. Mom had called Bonnie, called Chandler, even tried reaching Lily's school. She was getting desperate. Mommy! Lily called from her room. Can you help me with something? I found her holding the Christmas photo, tears on her cheeks. Tommy at school said Grandma's a bad person. Is that true? I sat beside her, pulling her close. Remember what we said about choices? Grandma made choices that hurt us. Now she has to face the consequences. Like when I broke Mrs. Peterson's flower pot and had to apologize? Something like that, baby. I kissed her head. But much bigger. My phone lit up with a text from Madeline. Story's ready. We air Monday at 6. Are you absolutely sure? I looked at Lily, at the photo, at the pile of medical bills on my desk. Then, I thought of Tucker in the library, trying to manipulate me, just like he'd manipulated my mother. Yes, I typed back. It's time everyone knew what family really means to them. Breaking news tonight. A local family story of gambling addiction, betrayal, and financial exploitation has shocked our community. The anchor's voice filled Madeline's office as we watched the final cut. What happens when the promise of easy money tears a family apart? My face appeared on the screen, composed but emotional. My mother left us when my daughter was fighting for her breath in the hospital. She chose a man with a gambling addiction over her own granddaughter. The story cut to interviews with Tucker's ex-wives, police reports, court documents, everything laid bare for the world to see. My phone started buzzing before the segment even finished. You did it! Madeline squeezed my hand. How do you feel? Before I could answer, her office door burst open. My mother stood there, mascara streaking her face. How could you? Mom, do you have any idea what you've done? She advanced into the room. Tucker's investors are watching this. They'll come after us now. Investors? I stood up. You mean loan sharks? The people he owes money to? I'm calling security. Madeline reached for her phone. Don't bother. Mom's voice cracked. I'm leaving. But Sierra, remember this moment. Remember you chose revenge over family. No, Mom. You chose Tucker over family. 18 months ago, in a hospital corridor. After she left, Madeline turned to me. You should stay with someone tonight. This might get ugly. Already arranged. Bonnie's expecting us. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Friends, distant relatives, even old classmates wanted to talk about the story. Local Facebook groups were sharing it, adding their own encounters with Tucker. At Bonnie's house, Lily played with her daughter while we watched the story spread online. Tucker's name was trending locally. Look at this! Bonnie pointed to her screen. 3 more women have come forward with similar stories about him. My phone lit up with a text from Amanda. Rachel and I are getting calls from reporters. This is bigger than we thought. Tucker ran the same scam in at least 4 other states. Sierra? Lily appeared in the doorway, clutching her inhaler. There are people outside with cameras. Bonnie rushed to the window. News vans, they found you. I'll call Madeline, I said, but another message stopped me cold. Tucker, you think you're clever? Watch what happens next. Your mother made her choice. Now she'll pay for your little stunt. We need to call the police, Bonnie said, reading over my shoulder. I was already dialing when my mother's number flashed on my screen. The voicemail she left made my heart stop. Sierra, they're here. Tucker's investors. They're taking everything. Please. I don't know what to do. Bonnie saw my face change. Don't you dare go over there. I have to. She's still my mother. Then I'm calling Chandler. You're not going alone. 20 minutes later, Chandler's car pulled up to my mother's condo. 2 large men were carrying out boxes, while Tucker argued with them in the parking lot. That's not even half of what I owe, he was saying. Just give me 2 more days. My mother sat on the curb, watching her possessions disappear. When she saw me, something broke in her expression. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Chandler stepped forward. I've called the police. They're on their way. The police can't help, one of the men growled. Legal debt collection. Legal? I pulled out my phone. Let's ask the news crew that's on their way how legal this is. The men exchanged looks. Tucker's face went pale. You've caused enough trouble, he spat at me. No. My mother stood up, her voice finding strength. You caused this. All of it. The sound of sirens cut through the tension. The men quickly loaded what they had into their truck and left. Tucker started toward his car, but a police cruiser blocked his exit. Sir, we've had reports of harassment and threats. The officer stepped out. We need to ask you some questions. I walked to my mother, still sitting on the curb, watching Tucker being questioned. They took everything, she said quietly. The jewelry, the savings bonds, even Dad's watch. Mom. No, let me finish. She turned to me, eyes clear for the first time in years. You were right. About everything. I chose wrong, and I kept choosing wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. Chandler appeared beside us. The police want statements from both of you, about the threats, the gambling, all of it. I watched as they put Tucker in the back of the police car, his charm finally failing him. My phone buzzed. Madeline. Story's gone viral. State Gaming Commission wants to talk. You've started something big. Mom, I said, helping her up. Come stay with us tonight. We'll figure this out tomorrow. She looked at me, surprised. After everything? You're still my mother, but things will be different now. As we drove away, I saw Tucker watching from the police car. He'd lost his power over us, one news story at a time. My phone lit up with another message, this time from Amanda. You did it. You broke the cycle. Thank you. The morning after the news story aired, my mother sat at my kitchen table, staring at her coffee while Lily got ready for school. The silence between us felt heavy with 18 months of unspoken words. Grandma, want to see my science project? Lily bounded into the kitchen, holding a poster about the respiratory system. I got an A! Mom's hands trembled as she took the poster. This is wonderful, sweetheart. You did this all by yourself? Mommy helped with the big words. Lily beamed. And look, this is why I need my inhaler. I watched them, remembering similar moments from before Tucker, before everything fell apart. The doorbell interrupted the fragile peace. Ms. Sierra? A woman in a crisp suit stood outside. I'm Jessica from Channel 8 News. We'd like to offer you a position as our community advocacy correspondent. What? Your story has resonated with thousands. We've received hundreds of emails from families affected by gambling addiction. We want you to help tell their stories. Mom appeared behind me. She'd be perfect for that. I turned, surprised. You think so? You always were good at standing up for people. Mom's voice cracked, even when I didn't deserve it. After Jessica left, leaving her card and an offer letter, my mother finally broke down. I sold your father's watch, she sobbed. The one he wanted you to have. Tucker said it was just temporary, that he'd buy it back. Stop. I held up my hand. I don't want to hear about Tucker's promises. He's being charged with fraud, she said quietly. The police found evidence of other scams, other women. I know. I started packing Lily's lunch. Amanda and Rachel weren't the only ones. Who? His ex-wives, the ones who helped me expose him. The silence returned, heavier this time. Lily appeared with her backpack, oblivious to the tension. Grandma, are you taking me to school with Mommy? Mom looked at me, questioning. I nodded slightly. The car ride was awkward, filled with Lily's chatter about her friends and classes. Outside the school, she hugged Mom goodbye, like no time had passed. Will you be here when I get home? Mom's eyes met mine in the rearview mirror. I don't know, sweetie. After dropping Lily off, we drove to the police station. They needed more statements about Tucker's activities. Ms. Sierra, Detective Roberts greeted us. Your story helped us connect several open cases. Mr. Steele has been very busy across state lines. While Mom gave her statement, I sat in the waiting room with Madeline, who'd come to cover the developments. The station loves you, she said. This advocacy correspondent position, it could be huge. I don't know anything about TV. You know about truth, about standing up for what's right. She squeezed my hand. Just think about it. Mom emerged from the interview room, looking drained. They want access to all my financial records, everything Tucker touched. Good. I stood up. They should know everything. Sierra? She reached for me, then dropped her hand. I keep thinking about Lily in the hospital, about leaving. I told myself I was following my heart, but I was just being selfish. Yes, you were. The way you've raised her, how strong she is. Mom wiped her eyes. You did that without me, maybe even because of me. My phone buzzed. Chandler. There's a support group for families affected by gambling addiction. Meeting tonight. Bringing your mother might help. I showed Mom the message. Want to go? You'd let me, after everything? Mom, I didn't do this story to destroy you. I did it to stop him, to protect others. I paused. And maybe to make you see what he really was. She nodded slowly. I'd like to go, to understand, to do better. Back home, I found the job offer letter on my kitchen table. The salary was double what I made at the library, enough to cover Lily's medical bills with room to spare. Mom picked it up. You should take it. Use your voice. Like I used it against you? Like you used it for the truth. She set the letter down. I'm staying at Aunt Linda's for a while, to figure things out. But I'd like to, if you'd let me, I'd like to earn my place back in Lily's life. In your life. I thought about Lily's face when she showed her poster, about Mom's genuine interest. Small steps, maybe, but steps forward. The support group meets at 7, I said. I'll pick you up at 6:30. After she left, I called Madeline. About that job offer. You'll take it. I looked at Lily's poster, still on the kitchen table, at the empty coffee cup my mother had used, at the business card from the detective who'd thanked me for breaking open their case. Yes, I said. I think I will. Because some stories need to be told, some truths need to be spoken, and sometimes the telling helps more than just yourself. And that's why we're here today, I concluded, facing the camera as dozens of people gathered behind me outside the courthouse. To witness justice being served, not just for my family, but for all the families affected by Tucker's schemes. The crowd erupted in applause as Tucker was led out in handcuffs. 3 months had passed since our story first aired, and the dominoes hadn't stopped falling. Sierra! Amanda pushed through the crowd, Rachel beside her. They're giving him 15 years. The judge actually listened to us. My mother stood at the edge of the group, watching Tucker being placed in the police car. When he looked our way, she turned her back to him. A small gesture, but a powerful one. Your story saved my marriage, a man approached, holding his wife's hand. I was heading down the same path as Tucker. Watching what he did to your family, it woke me up. I got help. More people came forward, sharing similar stories. My first 3 months as Channel 8's community advocate had opened a flood of confessions, healing, and change. Mom? I touched her shoulder. Ready to go? She nodded, wiping tears. I never thought. When you did that first story, I was so angry. But look at all these people you've helped. We drove to Lily's school for the afternoon pickup. Mom had started joining me 3 times a week, part of our carefully negotiated path to rebuilding trust. Grandma! Lily ran to her, waving a paper. I wrote a story for class about being brave. Want to hear it? Of course, sweetie. Mom's voice was steady now, no longer carrying the weight of secrets. At home, Bonnie and Chandler were waiting with a surprise. A celebration cake for the verdict. To justice! Chandler raised her coffee cup. And to the strongest woman I know? Speaking of strong, Bonnie grinned. Show them the letter, Sierra. I pulled out the envelope I'd received that morning. The state wants me to head a task force on gambling addiction and financial abuse, working with law enforcement to identify patterns, help victims come forward. You're taking it, right? Mom asked, her face bright with pride. I think so, but it means more travel, more time away from home. I could help with Lily, she offered quietly, if you trust me. The room fell silent. Bonnie and Chandler exchanged looks. Actually, I said, that's something I wanted to discuss. The support group leader says you've made real progress these past months. Mom had attended every meeting, shared her story, faced her enabler behavior head on. Small steps had become bigger ones. I'm trying, she whispered. I know. I took a deep breath. So maybe we could start with one afternoon a week, while I'm at the task force meetings. Lily looked up from her cake. Can Grandma take me to the park? The one with the duck pond? Maybe, I said, watching Mom's face light up. We'll see how it goes. Later that evening, after everyone left, Mom helped me clean up while Lily did her homework. I saw Tucker's face, she said, scrubbing a plate. When they read the verdict, he still thought he could charm his way out. That's what narcissists do? I know that now. She set the plate down. The support group taught me about addiction enablers. That's what I was. What I can never be again. My phone buzzed. Madeline. Story's going national. Network wants to interview you next week. Look at this, I showed Mom. Think I should do it? Definitely. She dried her hands. But Sierra, this time, let me tell my part. The whole truth. My responsibility in it all. Other mothers need to hear it. I thought about the man outside the courthouse, about Amanda and Rachel, about all the families still hiding similar secrets. Okay, I said. We'll tell it together. Mommy, Lily called from the living room. Can we show Grandma my memory box? The memory box, where we'd kept photos, cards, and mementos during the 18 months of Mom's absence. I'd started it to help Lily process the loss. Are you sure, baby? Lily nodded, already pulling it from the shelf. We sat on the floor, opening the box together. Mom's hands trembled as she saw the birthday cards returned unopened, the Christmas photos with her cut out, the hospital bracelet from Lily's worst night. I did this, she said softly. I caused all this pain. Yes, I agreed. But you're here now, trying to fix it. That matters too. Lily pulled out a recent photo, the three of us at her school play last week. Can we put this in too, to show the happy ending? Mom hugged her, tears flowing freely. It's not an ending, sweetheart. It's a beginning. My phone lit up again. Another message from a viewer seeking help. Another family ready to break free from addiction's chains. Ready to tell our story again? I asked Mom. The whole truth this time? She looked at the memory box, at Lily, at the future we were carefully rebuilding. Yes, she said, it's time. And we're live in 5, 4, 3. The studio lights brightened as the national morning show host turned to face us. Today we're joined by Sierra and Patricia, whose story of gambling addiction, family betrayal, and ultimate redemption has captivated millions. Ladies, thank you for being here. Mom squeezed my hand under the desk. We'd practiced this moment, but nothing could prepare us for the reality. Sierra, the host began, your story started with a choice. Expose your mother's boyfriend's crimes or remain silent. Was it worth it? I glanced at the monitor showing Lily watching from home with Bonnie. Truth is always worth it, even when it hurts. Patricia, the host turned to Mom. You've admitted to enabling Tucker's addiction. What would you tell other parents facing similar choices? Love shouldn't cost you your soul, Mom said clearly. I chose a man over my daughter and granddaughter. I watched him gamble away our future while my granddaughter struggled to breathe. That's not love. That's addiction. After the interview, we walked through Times Square, our story playing on the massive screens above us. Look, Mom pointed to her phone. The domestic violence hotline says calls have tripled since our segment aired. People are getting help. My phone rang. Madeline. The governor wants to meet about expanding the task force nationwide. You're changing lives, Sierra. Back at the hotel, Lily was waiting with Bonnie. Mommy, Grandma, you were on TV everywhere. Did we make you proud, sweetheart? Mom asked, pulling her close. You made everyone proud, Bonnie said. The support group's waiting list is full. People want to heal. I opened my laptop to find hundreds of new messages. One caught my eye. From Tucker's daughter, from his first marriage. Thank you for stopping him. I've spent 20 years watching him destroy families. Finally, someone was stronger than his lies. Mom read it over my shoulder. I should reach out to her. Maybe we could help her heal too. Already arranged, I smiled. She's joining next week's task force meeting. Sierra? Lily tugged my sleeve. Can we go home now? I want to show Grandma my new inhaler technique. The doctor says I might not need it as much soon. On the flight home, Mom showed me a letter she'd written to Tucker. I'm not sending it, she said. But the counselor said writing it would help. Want to read it? I took the pages, seeing years of pain poured into careful words. You made me believe love meant sacrifice. But real love builds, it doesn't destroy. My daughter taught me that. She could have destroyed me with the truth, but she used it to save others instead. That's real love. Mom, I touched her arm. You taught me something too. It's never too late to choose differently. The pilot announced our descent. Below us, our city spread out. The courthouse where Tucker faced justice. The library where I'd found my voice. The hospital where our story began. Ah, I have something for you. Mom reached into her bag. Found it at a pawn shop in Miami. She pulled out a familiar watch. Dad's watch. The one she'd sold for Tucker. How? The task force helped track it down. I've been making payments for months. She fastened it around my wrist. Your father would be so proud of you. At home, Lily ran to her room and returned with her memory box. Can we add the TV interview and Tucker's daughter's message? Why those? I asked. Because they show how fixing mistakes is brave too. She looked at Mom. Like when Grandma came back. Mom helped Lily place the items in the box, their hands steady together. My phone buzzed with another message. Amanda and Rachel had started their own support group in Florida. Sierra? Mom's voice was soft. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for proving me right, I answered. For showing Lily that people can change. Lily pulled out her homework, an essay titled, My Hero. Want to help me finish it? She asked us both. It's about family and forgiveness and stuff. We sat together at the kitchen table, the same table where Mom had first asked for help with Tucker's gambling debts. Now it held different promises: homework, healing, hope. Start at the beginning, Mom suggested. Tell them how the truth set us free. Lily began writing, her words flowing easily. My mom taught me that being brave isn't just about fighting bad things. Sometimes it's about giving people a chance to be good again. I looked at Dad's watch, ticking steadily on my wrist. At Mom, helping Lily find the right words. At the task force badge waiting by my laptop. We'd turned our pain into purpose, our betrayal into belonging. That's perfect, I told Lily. That's exactly how the story should end. But we all knew it wasn't really an ending. It was a continuation, a daily choice to be better, to love better, to live better, together.